Hello, hello, hello. Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, how are you guys doing? Okay, looks like I am live. Yeah, okay, looks like I am live. All right, so mic's hot, um, video feed transmitting, and we are going to be modeling Rolex watch for today. It's oh man, I don't know, but it's not going to be an easy one. The Rolex watch has a lot of intricate details that, you know, needs to be translated, and if it's not done properly, you can see it and you can feel it. So I'm going to go step by step and, you know, hope for a good result basically. So first of all, I'm going to bring in a circle, right? And I'll scale this and I'll ES this. I'm going to try to create the base shape first of all before I go into the detail. So we have something like this basically. I feel like I want to fill this face, right, and then extrude it downwards. So this right here on the side view, I will extrude on the Z just like so, and I can fill those. So I think the side width is something that I need to kind of look at to know the actual size of that width. I have references to the side right here, and this is what we're going to be using to track our progress basically. So we have the shape, basic shape. I'm going to go to this side right here, and I want to select these three faces because I want to go up to the top and then extrude these on the Y just like so. However, I'm looking at this and I feel like if we had a lower poly count, I probably would have, gotten a better result on this. But I think it's good enough. With this, I want to select these vertices and just GY, and I can click this and switch to active element and SX, just like so. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to scale all of that up a little bit. And then this, I'm going to GY into position, just like so. So we have this, not necessarily the greatest of topology. And I don't know if it's something I can even cut on this side, just like so. Yep. Yeah, so we have this. I think on the side view, this weights, I don't think this is the side view of this watch actually. Oh, it might be. I think it is actually. So I'm going to go to the side right here, and you see these edges. I'm going to bevel them, but first of all, let me bring in a general bevel so that I could add in a subdivision and the whole shape holds, right? So I can select these two and bevel both of them. So we have this shape of the wristwatch, the Rolex wristwatch. I am going to go to the top view, and I could mirror to this side and then mirror on the Y also. So we have the whole shape of the watch. Next, I'm going to work on this top detail right here. So for this, I'm going to duplicate this shape, and then I want to place this in such a way that like it will be so easy to not manipulate, but it's so easy to create this diamond shape basically. So we have this. I think first of all, let me just try to rotate and see if I can get things to align. You know, you know what? I'm going to apply, or maybe remove the mirror, or remove the subdivision and the bevel, and let's just see. I just want to rotate stuff and just see where things fall in. Okay. You know what? Instead of trying to find the shape that connects, let me see if I add in a subdivision, if I'm going to be able to get something to look good. So I'll dissolve this and then we're going to rotate. Still, let me add another subdivision and see if it's going to work. But it's still kind of the same thing. Maybe I want to take this as the base. So I'm going to undo all of this right to this point, and I'm going to add in a 2-level subdivision, right? So all of this edges right here I'm going to take out, and then I'll select these two, isolate them. I will inverse all of this and I'll delete all of the face, right? So we have this to work with. I can go in here, frame to selected, and I can extrude this all the way out just like so. So we have this looking nice. I would tighten up those, or just shade those better, basically by going to shade auto smooth. And looking at this, I think the shape is somehow so looking at something that looks like this, right? 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I can SY. I'm not going to use active element, I'm going to use bounding box SY, just like so. I can take these edges and GZ. GZ. No? GZ. And on that, I want to take this at last. Take this at last. At last, and then take this at last. So we have this. I can select all of that and SY, just make it sit on this a little better. Is this the correct shape? I do not know yet. So I can SY this even more. And I'm going to go to the top view. And I think that's probably the correct shape. The two faces down here I'm going to delete because I want this to connect seamlessly when I select all and shift R. So when I select everything, let me quickly check if I have overlapping vertices, and then I shift R. I want this to connect seamlessly to the side so that I can merge all of those into one mesh, and then kind of merge by distance too. So every overlapping vertex would consummate into one. One second, guys. Okay, so in order to get this, I think I just want to shift the R and then kind of figure out the right angle for this, right? Shift the R. I'm not really sure if this is flush actually. It is a flush. It's not flush. Actually, it's not a flush angle to this. So I need to go all the way back and then try to make sure that I don't tamper with the base mesh. To the base right here, and I'm going to do all of that extrusion again right here, because I know that if I shift the R this, everything is going to line up perfectly. Like everything is going to line up perfectly. So I'm not going to tamper with this mesh. I'm going to extrude, and especially this down part, this down plane right here, like this side. I'm going to try as much as possible to preserve that, so I can SY this, right? I can take this and then merge at last, take this, merge at last, and maybe I want to flip this to the other side. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take this, merge at last, and this, merge at last. So I think we have technically gotten to the same shape, maybe a little too high, but it's cool. Right now, these faces, I'm going to select these faces and delete. I'm going to select all and then just basically measure by distance. And on the Z, I'm going to shift DR, right? I don't know how many of this is going to go all the way around, but let me just try and see. 1, I'm going to repeat all of that. And then I would select all of those mesh and see how many are those. Like, how many objects did I select? Is there a way I can see how many objects I selected? That is strange. How many objects are selected, bro? So this is 64 and this is 01. So I think altogether I duplicated 63. So around 63, 64. So I'm going to undo all the way back. And then I'll go to the top view, Shift DR, right? And then this, I'm going to do 360 divided by 64. Let's do 64. Is this flush? I don't know, but I'm going to duplicate all of this all around to this point, so I can undo that. And I think this is flush actually. So I'm going to go to the top view, select all of that, and I'm going to try to join into one mesh. Go into edit mode, M, and merge by distance. So I think this is now one mesh. There is no vertex that is standing alone. So we have that. Quickly, I am going to select, I'm going to go to the top view first of all. You see all this loop right here. I'm going to select that and ES all the way to this point, and then I would easy and just scale that in just like so. So this is cool. This is smooth. I feel like I'm good with this. I'm just going to apply general bevel to this just like so, and that's a good bevel for me. So we have the face of this. I'm going to go on to so you see all of these fixtures in here. I don't know if I'm going to actually create those, but I feel like I should. So I'm going to create the second hand and try the logo and this shape in here, but I don't know if I'll go further to create like the letters and all those things. Those are very, very deep details. As a matter of fact, I think I have something here that I can just project onto the mesh and we'll have all of that. But yeah, let me create a knob before I do that. So I'm going to come to the side view on this. I think this is the absolute side right here. I'm going to bring in a cylinder RY90. I'm going to scale that down just like so. Go to the top view. I'm going to place it at this point. That's cool. All right. So what I'm going to do is, create that our shape again. And how we created that was to select two planes, duplicate that, and with this we can easily extrude, and then we can, so I want to select all of this and just pull it all the way in. GX, I'm going to pull it close to the mesh basically. Right, somewhere around here is cool. And you see this right here, I can select these edges and SX. Right, that's cool. I can now merge with this, merge at last, and then merge at last. So that's cool. The only issue now is this place is not particularly flat. So let me see if I can shade flat. It is not. So I'm going to see if I can try to scale it into position and just scale. Let's see. Still the same results. What if I consolidate this into one face? No. So I'm going to leave it like this and go on with the modeling. I'll delete these faces, and right on the side view right here, oh my god, I can shift DR and let me see how many of these are going to do. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So we are seeing 16 of those. I'm going to do 360 divided by 16. So I'm going to shift DR and we're going to do 360 divided by 16, and that will give us the perfect angle for this. So I can repeat all of those, and that's cool. I'm going to select all of this, right, and join all of that into one mesh. Delete that face, go to the side view again, select all of this, and all that are going to be joined into one mesh. So I can go into edit mode and delete or merge by distance the overlapping meshes. So right here, I'm going to select this right here. From what I'm seeing, I think this is pretty small. So I can bring, okay, no, I think it's cool. But it needs to be scaled up though. Yeah, I think somewhere around here is cool. But if I look at it in context, it seems to be overlapping our main body. So this needs to be extended on the Z slightly. So that's cool. Right here on this edge, I can bring cursor to selected. I can carry this and bring selection to cursor. I'm just going to scale this down a little, and you see this edge right here. I can just EX, feed it into the mesh. I'll select this, and we're going to form this face. So for this, I can EX all the way outward like so. I can fill that face, and I can bevel all of that. So I think this is what the shape of that knob looks like. So something I want to do is see if I can add, okay, yeah, I can add a good bevel to this and I won't have issues. Because why I was scared about the topology initially was that you see this, I think my bevel had a chance of considering this edge as a bevel and then add a bevel to this, but it didn't. It omitted that, and yeah, I'm happy about that result. I want to quickly check my stream and we'll get back on to what we're modeling. Other results. I want to quickly check my stream and we'll get back on to what we're modeling. Like, I think it's really crazy how I feel like my audio is really hot and it's really pushing out, but not like in a good way. I don't know if you understand. Like, I feel like I have all the whole dials and filter turned all the way up, so even if I'm talking very very softly, like I'm not projecting at all, it's coming in hot. That's something I need to figure out, setting or something. Probably need to call my brother to like show me what to do, but right now we're just going to working with. I'm looking at this now and it's not like perfect circle. If I look at it on the side, I think this is one of the reasons why I feel like this is not the model we're working with. This curve right here. I don't think this came down. Let me look for more references. Just give me a second, guys. Okay. One second, I'll be with you guys on the screen. I'm just trying to look for something that shows the actual shape of that. Or you know what? Let me go to the main Rolex website. Rolex. And we're going to go straight to the products. Okay, I can't say anything, but let's continue. I don't want this to take so much of our time. I think we already have the knob modeled. Next I'm going to do is model all of this tiny seconds hand here. I think on this face it looks just like a dot. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like it's not the same. See, this one on the reference is shorter while this is longer, but on this one they're all the same height. So yeah, I think my theory is correct. It's not the same reference. So I'm going to bring in a cube, scale that down, and SY, GY. I can bring this to the top, scale that down, and GY. Scale this and SY into position. That's cool. With this, I can GZ, but not all the way in, just like so. See this face right here? I want to bring this face up. GZ. I want to look at the reference, just kind of guess the depth, because after I came out, I feel like this was still extruded downward. I'm going to scale this and then I'm going to extrude this. Why isn't it extruding? Extrude on the Z. Just a smidge. I think that's the level where this needs to be. So whatever is going on here, I'm going to G up to this point around here. And this I can GC. So you see this second hand or this detail here. I'll just bring it up to the surface and we can start modeling. Something I was supposed to take note of was to make sure that our origin point right here was at the center. So whatever rotation or edit we're making is going to go around the watch. So what I can do to correct that is I can just right click and take the origin down to 3 because we have our origin down here. So with this done, I want to SX, right? Make it smaller because SX. I want to rotate this to a different position. So I can rotate but hold control and get it to that position. But I think I'm going to shift DR, hold control, get it to that position. Shift DR, hold control, get it to this position. Shift DR, hold control right here. Shift DR, Shift DR, Shift DR. So we have, this is supposed to be 5. It means it's supposed to be 4. So I'm not going to hold control anymore. I'm going to SX, make that even slimmer. I'm going to Shift DR. We're going to get 1. Shift DR. What's going on? So Shift DR. We got the first one. Shift DR. Got the second. We can repeat for the third and the fourth. And then the one that we have stationed here, we can just scale on the X. Like so. So all of this, they're going to go into one mesh. And this is going to be the basis of our rotation on this watch. So I'm going to join all of that into one mesh, and I can Shift DR and bring this here. So we need to see how many percent that is. I think the rotation is 30.45, which I think should be 30 degree. So that's the rotation, and I'm going to repeat that until it goes all the way around to this point. So we have this detail. I can select all of that and make sure they are all in one mesh. Join, and then I'm going to Control A, apply scale, and I will just apply bevel to that. Okay, that's cool. Right here, I think I want to make another of this, so I can Shift D and Y, scale this on the Y, GZ, scale it on the X, and I think that's cool. I'll separate this into a different mesh and GZ, bring this down. So that's cool and all that. Something I would like to do is, if you look at this in the reference, we have a silver lining around it. So in order to do that, I'm going to switch to face and I'm going to insert all of this. Insert around here, and I can invert that and extrude along the mouse, just like so. So that's cool. Extrude along the mouse slightly. I'm going to go to the top view, and for this now I can Shift DR and let's see, I think this degree is 30 degrees. But from the rotation you could tell that this needs to come up even more. So for this I can Shift DR. We're going to do 30 degrees. Something just came to mind. I'm going to repeat that, and I'm going to switch to my other screen to check if there's a football match for today. So I'm just quickly going to check if there's a football match and get on to my streaming, because if there is, England playing today, I would like to watch them. If there's France playing, I would like to watch them. Let's see. So none of the okay. Brazil and France is playing today. I would like to watch that match. Okay, so let's make a mental note of that. That's for 9 o'clock. We are back in modeling, and before I just get on to modeling, 1 second, I want to check stream again, make sure I'm all good and I've not disconnected from the stream. I just get on to modeling, 1 second. I want to check stream again, make sure I'm all good. All right, I'm all good on that, and yeah, we're going to take all of this. Now I'm looking at this, it looks like this is too close. Okay, it's not too close. I think it's a good distance. I'm going to take all of this and I'm going to join into one mesh. Join. So we're going to model the Rolex logo. I'm going to do half and half, and so I don't work twice basically. So I'm going to bring in a cube GY up to this point. GY and so honestly I think in order to model this I should use a plane instead. I won't use a cube. So I'm going to take this and just delete the entire vertices down there. So I can scale this down, G bring to this point, GX in here, and I can GY this down. So this I'm going to bring out to this point. This Rolex's logo, so in all honesty, let me show you what I think is happening here. I feel like up here there's a UV sphere. I'm going to RX 90 on this. There's a UV sphere at that top. It is not like flat. So I can GY up to the top, scale this down, GY. So what happens next is I can hone in on that sphere and then select these faces, right? Go to the top view and I can extrude this. I feel like this is what is happening actually. Then this can be scaled. I can SY0. Let me see. But this would be a really tough topology to work with. I'm going to separate this, delete this main mesh, and I'll use this instead. And the reason I want to do this is because I feel I foresee a problem with mesh just coming up later. So I'm going to use this instead, dissolve all of those vertices, and right here, in fact, I'll delete this edge and I can take this, extrude down to the side, but already have this on the side, so I can Shift D, bring to this point. I'm going to use this as an active element and rotate all of that and maybe even scale it down. And then I'll do the same again. Get this to this point, rotate, and then I think I'll scale it down again. So that's cool. I'm going to delete this vertex and I'm going to merge by distance, but it looks like this distance is too far, so I'm going to just merge at last instead. Merge at last. This is going to be deleted. So this part I can G and extrude down to this point. So what's going to be happening here is just filling in that space. So I can select all of this and space it up, select it, and kind of relax it also. But I want to include this. Let's see if we can relax all of that, kind of make it rounder. That's cool. Even this, I feel like it's too dense. I'll be completely honest with you guys. So I want to check out the select on this and then just dissolve those vertices. Maybe I want to do it again. Check out the select. I'm just going to do it one time. Dissolve all that. Dissolve all that vertices. Then last, check out the select on this side. Dissolve all of that vertices. So that's cool. Right here, I'm going to mirror to the other side. Makes sense. I can apply that mirror first of all. Select this, dissolve vertices, and then I'll turn this into a face, and I'll bring in a cylinder to cut in this hole. GY. Scale that down, scale on the X. So we have that. I can select this and then cut into that hole basically. I can select this, apply that boolean, and delete that cutter. I'm going to look at how this mesh looks like now. Now it looks a lot. I'll be completely honest. So I think these two, I'm just going to measure center, right? For this, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 here, 9 here. That's, we're looking at a circle of about 18 vertices. And these vertices that we're looking at here, how many are those? That's 32. So I'm going to do a little bit of check out the select and see where that lands us. I'm going to dissolve vertices. Let's see how many these are now. That's 18. Fantastic. So this, I'm just going to space. I'm going to leave it like this actually. And then all of this I'm going to join. I'm going to join to this, join to this, join, 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 join. Oh, okay. There's one that's a little bit off, so I'm going to join this and then dissolve this edge. So this is cool. I'm going to look at this now. This is about, how many vertices are we looking at here? This is 10. This is 10. So let me just, I'm going to skip this and then join this. I'm going to delete this face. Delete face only, right? And that's because I want to join this with fill. So this is going to be joined like so. This is going to be joined like so. This, I'm going to fill. This, fill. This, join. This, fill. Fill. And then this right here, I'm going to add in an extra on this side. I'm going to fill this and then this. I feel like this is going to be a long tutorial, or it's going to be a long video basically. I could already tell that's going to be long. So I'm just going to mirror this to the other side, and I think we have not a bad mesh actually. Not a bad mesh. So that's cool. Dissolve edge. I'm going to join this just like so. So I can bring this down on the z-axis to the surface, right? And then I can extrude this out just like so. So I want a situation where I think In order to achieve that roundness there's an obvious roundness right here, I'm going to select boundary loops, right? Change this to face. I'm going to select boundary loops on this, right? Let me do that to both sides actually. I'm going to select all of this face, and I'm going to go to select boundary loops, and I can bevel all of that. Ooh, okay. I'm going to recalculate normals. This is already clipping, seriously. Okay. So part of what's making this click, I'm going to bring origin to this point. I think it's this actually. So I'm going to dissolve all of this, dissolve edges. I'm going to flip this, apply, and then let's try bevel again. There's something going on here, so I'm going to select this space, select this space, select this space. So I'm going to try again. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll just move this alone. So that's cool. I'm going to apply, add that bevel. Let's see. Not exactly working the way I want, but I feel like I can live with this, and just going to move on to something else. One 7. Okay, that's cool. Can GZ this onto the surface, and honestly, that's not all right. That's not all right to me. That is not all right. So I'm going to go up to the surface right here. I'm going to select these faces, and then these faces, and then I'm going to go to select boundary loops, and I can bevel just like so, right? So with this bevel, I should be able to apply a sub D, and it's looking like all of this require a holding loop basically. This part is taking so long actually. I don't know why. Join. I don't think I've gotten to the hard part yet. Like the hard part I feel like is going to be the chain. Join. Flip. Add that. Let's do that again. So I'm going to select this entire face, the entire top face, the entire bottom face. I'm going to select boundary loops, and then I'm going to bevel that. So we can add sub D and add some holding loops around here. So with that done, I can flip to the other side. I think this part too needs some holding. This require holding, this require holding. So yeah, I'm satisfied with this right now. I'm not going any further than this. So logo is good. I think somewhere else requires that logo, and that is this part right here. So I'm going to bring this to this point. I'm going to duplicate that logo, and I'm going to shift R, selection to cursor. For this, I'm going to copy rotation on that. I know my rotation is not copying, but what I'm going to do is rotate this by 90, rotate Z by 90, scale that down, GZ, and just put it into the surface like that. So that's cool. Next up, I'm going to do the second hand and all the other hands. From what I see, I'm going to bring selection to cursor to the selected, and I'm going to bring in I'm going to bring in a cube, scale down. I think this is about the size. I can SY, GY, SX, just like so. Right, I think this is the relative shape. The only thing is that you see this part, I have to GY and just scale down. GY, scale down a little bit. I think that's a good amount for this handle. Or is it? I don't know. I'm doing a little bit of guesswork here right now. SX. So I'm looking at this width to actually guess this side of it. So I think it should be somewhere around here. I'm going to take this part and GZ on that. And I'm going to take the rest and just mirror to the other side. From what I'm looking at, this top is meant to be just way slimmer, just like so. So I can rotate this. Let's see. So I'm way off on this. First of all, this is going to go all the way to the top. This is going to be slimmer on the X, and I'm going to GY this. So I can rotate. Let's see. Yep, I think that's getting there. This top part, I'm going to GY. I think that's a good position right this second. That looks good. I'm going to do the other hands, and the other hands are going to entail, we're going to start with a cube. I think this is the basic width of this, somewhere around here. GY. I can scale it down. SY. GY. That's cool. The end of this can be deleted, and we can just try to create the shape. I think what the shape looks like to me is it tapers at the top a little bit. We still have that weird how do I say it now? We still have that weird joining that creates that dark and light shading on the hand. However, there's some kind of a box. There's some kind of inset around here, so we need to cater for that too. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to GZ, and I can flip this to the other side, apply, and then in order to create this right here, I can add this, select these faces and extrude on the Z, but when I get down to the other side, I would SZ0, make that flat basically. So that's cool. I don't know. I feel like this needs to be closed off though. Whoa, and this is looking ridiculous actually. Frame selected, GZ. Let's see the other end of this, because I think what's happening there is I scaled on one axis without considering the whole thing as a whole rather. So I feel this is good. However, isn't this supposed to be closed off at the bottom? Like for example, this. I'm not supposed to have some kind of an easy and then close it off. Let's see if that's possible. And with this I can easy and SZ0 GZ, and I can feel that shape. However, when I go to the side view, something I want to there's something fundamentally wrong with this second hand actually, and I'm going to make sure I fix it before I move forward. So this, I'm going to select this and this, and I'm going to use active element and SZ0. You see this extrusion that we have down here. I can SZ0 GZ. Feel that I can select this and GZ downward like so. So that's cool. Same applies to this. I'm going to select all of that edge and easy SZ0 GZ and fill out that face. So I'm cool with this hand, and even if I rotate it and it doesn't fit correctly, like I'm just going to move on. Okay, it doesn't fit correctly, and I think they are like easy adjustments. So I'm going to GY out and bring this in a little bit so I can rotate this right into place. So that's perfect. In fact, I feel like I can even duplicate this and rotate for this one, only that it needs to be longer and shorter. So I'm going to, for this, I'm going to shift DR, right? And then for this, I'm going to make that longer up to the top and then short. In fact, it doesn't need to be shorter down there. So right here, I can, no, right here, I can GY up to this point. Rotate, let's see, it needs to be longer. GY rotates. Oh, no. GY. Okay, so I feel pretty good about that combination right there, but I don't really understand what's going on here. Like this part, I'm not really sure what I'm seeing. First of all, I feel like this needs to kind of be away from each other a little bit. And I can GZ this down to the surface. Right? And on this, I'm going to bring in a cylinder, scale that down. GZ, I'm going to SZ, bring this in, scale all of that. SZ, and right here I'm going to bring in what I think I'm seeing something. So I'm going to bring cursor to this point actually, right? And I'm going to bring in a circle. So what I'm seeing is a shape like this. GZ, it fills the face, and then I think there's a little bit of a checkout deselect that is going on. So the checkout deselect is like 3 is selected and everything else is deselected. So 3 selected and deselected is so high that the selected that is 3 is reduced to is this, the ones that are selected is reduced to just 3 bunch. But then I'm looking at this, it's 6 here, it's 6 here, but it's way more than 6 right here. Way more than 6. So let me see if I can use the offset to fix that. We still have the same thing. What can I do? I think this 3, I'm going to make that selection at a different point that I feel like it's balanced. I think somewhere around here is good. I'm going to extrude on the Z axis, select this face, insert. This right here, I'm going to I would like to GZ on this actually. But what I can do is select these faces and just extrude a little bit. I want to give that some weight, and I can shade auto smooth and then add in a solidify modifier to this. I feel like I've been going for an hour, so I'm just going to check the timing on this. 56 minutes. So that's cool. Oh my god. So that's cool. It's not so long. The amount of time I spent on the stream, it felt like an hour, but it's not an hour. So I think that's a good sign that this is going on well. So this is all good. All good. Can I join all of this together? I do not think so. So I'm going to GZ, and yep, around here is cool. GZ up a little bit. Next up, I want to just quickly check the stream because I see that the internet is already weakening. Next up, I want to just quickly check the stream because I see that the internet is already weakening. Okay, that's cool. I'm going to go on to creating all these chains right here. Before I go any further, I feel like this part should be round. So whatever extrusion I did here, I'm going to delete all of that. I'm going to delete all of this right here. Delete all the vertices. This I'm going to J. Delete all of the vertices, and then I can select this hole right here and EY, right? SY 0 GY, and this I'm going to select, and should I do SX? That's cool. I can feel that. Then I can take this and space out. Take this and then space. Right. So this right here, I can select these edges and bevel that just like so. So that's sweet. That's smooth. Next up, I'm going to select this edge right here and Shift D on that. Separate that selection. And I can extrude this on the X all the way till it connects. I'm going to remove that sub D on that, and maybe the bevel too. So we have that looking good. From what I can, I have to be careful with this part because it's really tricky. From what I can see, I don't think I'm seeing anything again. I'm going to apply this mirror, delete this edge, and then I'm going to scale this. Right. SZ. So I'm going to go to the top view, bring a loop at that point, bevel that just like so, and I can take this like so and extrude along normals the other way. I think till we get somewhere around here. That's cool. After the extrusion, we have a face right here that is not doing anything, so I can delete. I want to isolate this and see what faces I'm going to be deleting. I think the faces I'm going to be deleting is like so. Around here. Here's good. Here's good. Here good. Here's good. Select, delete all of that face, and I'll just flip this to the other side basically. You see this part right here? I want to just delete it. So I can call back the remaining mesh, shade smooth, and yeah, I think this is pretty chilled. If we want to add bevel to it, we can easily add a bevel, and that works. So the other part of this chain, oh my god. So this part right here, I feel like it extends out a little bit, like right here. I can GY on this out just like so. GY, and then flip to the other side, apply that mirror, and that's cool. All of this edge right here can be hidden inside. That's cool. 1 second, guys. All right. So I'm going to bring this up here. Shift DY to this point. Shift DY, and then I can rotate this by 180. Bring this to this point. I think that point is good. I feel like I need to get one shape of this, and then we can just go on from there. So you see these two edges, I'm going to bridge just like so. On the side, let's see what it looks. We can't see anything here. I can feel that, but I feel like this is longer actually. GY, this is longer, right? That's cool. But should it be this thick? I don't think so. I don't think it's this thick actually. As a matter of fact, I feel like this part all collapses on the Z, like SZ, something like this. That's what this part looks like all these parts. I'm I'm going to select this as a active element and SZ0. This is what I think this part is. But I don't think it's this thick though. Like I still stand on that. But since I can't see the down part, I am going to just go on. Right here, I think it's technically kind of the same with this. So I'm going to shift D down to this point. Right. I'm going to take out that center. Then this, I'm going to GX into position just like so. So that's cool. With this done, I can flip to the other side, apply that mirror, and then I can select this, and then we have, I think this is going to be a basic shape that is going to go around the entire thing. So I'm going to bring origin to geometry, and I'll be honest with you guys, I want to bring in a curve to see if I can run this around the curve, but I highly doubt. Like, working with curves in Blender is just, it's a headache, man. I won't even lie to you. So there's something I saw on one of the Rolex. It has something like this. As a matter of fact, let me just go back to when I have all of this curved, because in order to achieve that, all of this needs to be curved. So I'm going to leave it curved just like so. GY. This needs to be smaller. Here? Needs to be smaller. Can I GZ this? L and merge by distance. Or do something like this. Merge at last. Merge at last. I'm going to separate this into a different mesh. P. I'm going to bring origin to geometry. And then flip to the side. Flip to the side. So I think this is pretty good. And I'm extending this because, I mean, I feel like it should be this long though. Because what I'm trying to do with the center right here is to bring in a cursor to this point, and then I'm going to bring in a cylinder, right? RX90 on that, or RZ90. And that cylinder is going to act like some kind of a knot right here. I know it's not in this, but I saw it in some of the Rolexes, and I would like to incorporate it in this one. But it wasn't this huge. It wasn't this thick. Let me look at my reference again. Yeah, I'm actually correct. It's not this. It's not this thick. So I want to bring you some references that could help. Right here, can paste this, and if you look at this, you would see right here we got our shape wrong. Ours is like a round on both sides, but this is flat at the bottom and just curved on one point. So I think that's where we even need to start tackling this from. So I'm going to undo all the way down. Around this point where I have everything flat. So instead of it to be curved on both sides, I'm just going to take one edge and bevel just like so. So it's just a one face thing. It's not like everything that has that. So it's something like this. And and you see this edge. I can duplicate that, right? Select that all and then extrude till it meets at the center here. I'm going to delete that bevel, delete that sub D. I'm going to apply the mirror, dissolve that, shift N. I'm going to shade auto smooth. So that's cool. I think right here I'm going to bevel this. As a matter of fact, maybe I should shrink. I'm going to shrink this first of all. Select all and then just shrink in. Dissolve edge. I think the shrinking is good. SX, scale out, and then this I can bevel that. But why is it not beveling? Do I need to delete one edge? I'm going to delete that bevel. Wow. Merge at last. Bevel. Still not beveling. What's going on? SX0. Dissolve edge. Delete edge. Can select all of this and just dissolve the vertices generally. So right here I can fill. Bevel, okay, that's cool. So I'm going to bring all back to the scene. I'm going to bevel this right here. Extrude along normal slightly. That's flat. So I actually do think that this part right here is GY. GY is out just like so. All of this part I'll use a boolean to just clear it. GY. So if I want to use a boolean to clear that, I can select this, shift D, select this, fill that, scale, and I can extrude this out. So this can be difference. Hmm. think this, and this, I can GY, select this, because I want to hide this in the entire thing. I can GZ also. So that's cool. I think this, through this to this, and this should be evenly spaced. Same would apply with this, through this and this. Okay. Next up, I can bring in, I think at this point right here, I'm going to bring cursor to this point, and then I'll bring in a cube. This cube I'm going to SY and GY. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring this cube to the center of this. So cursor to this point and selection to cursor. So GZ, GY. I'm going to SX on this, GY, and that's cool. I'm going to apply that scale. And what I'm going to do next is on the side here, I'll bring this up to the surface and GY. Right here, I can select both SZ0, GZ up to the surface. That's cool. I think this also needs to come up a bit. On the top view, I'm going to scale this down, and I'm about to create a shape like what we have right here. So what we have over there is GY. I'm going to select these edges, SY, GY, and then apply scale and just bevel all of those. That's cool. Shade auto smooth. On the Z, I can select all this, bring to this point, GY. I want to have a little bit of space in that, GX. And on the top view, I can GX on this, bring it flush to this side. I can select this and GX. That's cool. With this, I can flip to the other side, and we have one part of the watch looking good. However, I'm going to apply this. I need that same screwing mechanism to appear here. So I'm going to bring cursor to this point. I'm going to bring in a cylinder, turn this to my view, scale it down, right? And I can remember vividly what that knot looked like actually. Frame selected. It was GX in, and we had something like this. Something, the felt kind of looked like this, and then this was extruded out. And then this right here, we could maybe add a loop first of all, and then have something like this. So I can remember this, what I saw. So I'll bring this GX, shade auto smooth, and yeah, looks good. Next up, I'm going to select this and just flip to the other side. I'm going to select this and I'm going to merge by distance. That's cool. I can apply geometry to mesh and then join. And next up, I want to bring in a curve. So we're going to bring a curve, a circle curve, but we're going to do it from the center of the scene, bring in a circle, scale that. I'm going to go to the side view, RY 90 and GZ. Okay, so that's cool. I don't think, let me see if I can, okay. I don't think it's a square curve we need. I mean a circle curve, we need just a Bezier curve. So from this I can SY 0, rotate this on the Z by 90. With this I can subdivide G, bring this around here, scale, GZ scale, rotate, scale, bring this around here, bring this around here. I'm not going to add that mirror to the curve. I'm going to scale this, and this is cool. So since we already have this, I have an add-on. I'm not going to try to do this manually. I'm going to select both, and I think the bag add-on is called Bagify. With that, I can just duplicate on the mesh. First of all, I'm going to apply scale. Just apply all transforms first. Then, oh my god. You know what? I'm going to do it with our new array add-on. Let me see if that's going to work. So I'm going to array on the y-axis, right? Tighten that up. 3, bring that in, just like so. As a matter of fact, this needs to be more in. And it almost feels like I should have duplicated on this side too. But that's going to make the watch look too mechanical. So I feel like this is good. But we're not going to go, we're going to go on the curve actually. And what if I tell you that it is this curve that we're going to be using? You see? It's all over the place, messed up. So let's see. Man. I'm going to try this again. But this time around, I'm going to bring the origin of this to the geometry, and this mesh itself is going to be at the center and at the same origin as the curve. So what if I do this? I'm going to use Bagify add-on this time. Let's see. Okay. So how can I increase the count though? Yep, we're here. But this doesn't work. Like there's something missing here actually. So I'm going to undo all of that. Since we have that, I'm going to Shift D this, right? And then S to take selection to cursor. And then I'm going to do Bagify and go along the curve. This is cool. I'm going to go to the Where's the curve? And with this curve, I'm going to move this out a little bit. GY. I can RX 90 because I feel like this. No, RX 180. This is the wrong way. Then I want to go to that curve again and edit the curve actually. This can be scaled down, or we could have a subdivide down here. That would be something like this. This is too straight, so maybe I'm going to turn this like so. Go back to the curve and GY, RX, GY. So that's cool. I don't think the count is enough though, because the other end is suffering actually. So for the other end, I'm going to GY, bring this out. And I think what's missing is actually this part right here. So with this, I can flip to the other side. And this doesn't connect properly. You know what? I'm going to take that curve and I'm not going to dig it in. GY. This is not correct though. Okay. I think this looks correct actually. Rotate on the X, on the Y, make that relax. GY. That's cool. And I really, really like this. Like, I am super happy about this result. And to be honest with you guys, like, I watched a lot of videos before I actually made this. And I mean, just to see it come to life, I watched like 2 or 3 YouTube videos, and yeah, this is really fulfilling because it looks good, it makes sense, and I like it so much. So right here, I can GZ, GY. That's cool. This I'm going to GY into position, and yeah. So what I would like to do, I'm going to GZ this down, and I'll select all of this and just I'm going to convert geometry. Oh no, I want to convert everything into a mesh. So I think for this, I have to go to geometry node, and there's something instance. There's a realize instance exactly. I think I'm going to connect geometry to this and this. I don't know, it made this look different actually. Slightly different. think I'm going to do the glass. Let me see how long I've been going for. This is 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm just going to check the stream, see what's that looking like, and then we can go on. 1 hour 30 minutes. I'm just going to check the stream, see what's that looking like, and then we can. Hey, smart. Oh my! You said most we use geometry node. I don't even know if you're Nigerian. I'm saying no more. But like yo, I do not use geometry node, and my own personal opinion, I feel like geometry node unlocks a whole different kind of creativity, and maybe that's why that's the reason why it's so hard to learn. You know, the real value of being a 3D artist, or the real, like, technical ability of what being a 3D artist is, I feel like it's embedded in being in learning the geometry node, and it's really hard. I've tried to learn it before. I've gotten to the stage where I was so comfortable with it, but I kind of pulled back along the line, and I don't know, I'm not so good with geometry node right now. But like after I'm done with this 100-day stuff, I plan on doing like just a week long or like a month long, just soaking myself with geometry node and seeing how far I can go with it. But I really want to learn geometry node, man. But yeah, everything doesn't have to be geometry node. There are other ways I would have approached that, but like I just felt like I needed to use geometry node at that point. Yeah, thanks for commenting on the stream. I really appreciate you, Smar. I'm just going to check your channel if you're a blender or a 3D artist, and you're not. Okay, that's cool. Up next, I'm going to go on to I think polishing up, and you see this has a hook actually, but I'm going to check for another hook because that one is really complicated and it's really going to stress me. So I want to look for something simpler that I can use as kind of like the buckle. And let's see how that goes. So it so happens that it's the same across board, but this one that I'm seeing right here is so much more, it's simpler. It looks like it's going to be easier to model. So I'm just going to take a screen grab of this and I'll pull that into PureRef. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Whoa, it's not simple. Shaman. It is not. But something that I saw in that one that I really liked was that the logo, right, was placed on the side. So I'm going to shift D on that and then bring the logo down to this point. I'm going to RX 90, RY 90, and on this side I can rotate and then just scale that up. GZ. Scale that. For this part, I really don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this buckle, to be honest. This is just, it's going to be a lot of work, man. I don't think I'm going to do it. Let's assume this is an elastic ROLEX. So for the glass, I'm going to bring in a circle, scale that down, right? Fill that face, extrude that a little bit, and then I think I'm going to apply that scale and then bevel this just a smidge. Bevel this like so. Select this face, scale down, and GZ, and then this I can bevel. Scale, GG, tighten this up. I'm going to isolate that, select this, bevel, insert. Okay. Let me see if I can assign random. Is it random color or random texture? I don't think it's random texture. Yep, this is it. Or you know what? Leave it like that. So I think all of this I can copy, Shift D, and then move to a different collection that I would call a dump. And then let me see if I can realize this. Yep, and then this can be taken off. Or something fire actually. Let's see if I can assign. How do I? Oh man. There's a way that they do this. Assign transparent texture in viewport clay mode. Let me see. Blender. One second, guys. I quickly want to check how to.
Hey everyone, Patrick CK here. Well, that's viewport. If you haven't seen that video, I ran into show the in the way. Keep your print would be the best way to unfortunately per will as did go to material EBSDF principal values down to the select the color picker, and no matter adjusting the viewport render editor for complexity of the material alpha option. Adjusting this value will change the opacity of the material.
Okay, so I think what they usually do, and it looks something like this. They would give this a texture, then they'll go to texture and go to viewport display, and they're going to give it a color. Right, they're going to give it a color and they'll reduce the alpha. Oh, it didn't work.
option. Adjusting this value will change the...
Okay, so in this, they will select this and they will drop the alpha. All right. Yep. That's more like it. So I'm going to take this down to white, or maybe we want to do a greenish or a bluish kind of thing. Drop that opacity, and yeah, I actually really like this. So Rolex is done. However, there's something that I would want to do. That's this right here. I want to bring in all of this detail. So I'm going to go to Photoshop and create that texture. I don't think you guys are seeing my Photoshop right now, but I'm going to go to Photoshop and create that texture, and I'll be with you guys in Blender shortly. Where is it? No, maybe I should go to Pure Ref and just take a screen grab. Because boy, this is actually really well rendered, bro. Like when they say well rendered, this was well rendered. Okay. So first thing I want to take out is I want to isolate this. How am I going to do this actually? I can isolate these textures. J, right? Turn off the remaining. Place this here. Use the curve to push to black and white. I can also use a black and white adjustment layer on that. Can bring in a solid black, and I think we have close to the texture. Only that I need to bring in levels to tighten that up. 1 second, guys. I'll be back on Blender shortly, but I just want to get this texture in. So we're back in Blender right now, and I want to grab this face right here, and I can shift D on that, separate that selection, and we have that face. Only that I'm going to remove bevel on that, subdivision on that, and apply the mirror on that. So all of this, I'm just going to bring it above the surface a little bit so that we don't have that clipping effect going on. Whoa. So this can give this not a geometry node but a texture, and it's going to be green. This kind of green is going to be metallic, and this texture that is moving like this, I don't really know how to achieve that, but let me see. I know that I can bring it in noise, texture, right? I can bring in this mapping node, but how is the stretch going to happen? How is it going to originate from the center? That is what I don't know. Oh my god, Blender just crashed. 1 second, guys. I'll be back up, and and quickly recover this. Okay, that's cool. You know what? That's all for right now. I'm going to keep this until a later time. Well, first of all, let me just drag in that texture map that I created. That's this right here. I can keep this here. I'm going to use it for later, and I'm going to save this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Rolex watch done. Rolex watch I'm going to keep at $15, and this is day 97. I can save this, come down to this and day 97. Rolex watch. This was almost 2 hours of stream, and I'm really happy with the results. Like really, really happy with the result actually. I want to see if I can add in more textures to this. Reduce the roughness. Going to drop saturation a little bit. What if I add shadows? Cavity is already on. Let me add shadows. So that's cool. This is fantastic actually. Like, you know what? I want to take a picture and like upload on my Instagram. 1 second. I didn't like that shot, so I'm going to do this. Reduce the alpha even more. Right. And maybe shadow can be reduced. Let's see. Okay, so I'm done with this. Shout out to everyone that was on stream. I'm just going to check stream once more if they will have any chat on there. Okay. Okay, no chat. That's cool. So that's about it, guys. So long, and until I see you guys in the next one. That's peace.